Classifying triangles. If you are back in class, look to the back section of the room where all the art is and find all of the really cool, creative ways that students have classified triangles over the years. You should see a SpongeBob one and a Pokemon one. You should see one that was filled with Oxless staff members. Your teacher Dylan's on there as a not too flattering choice, but I'm not going to go any further than that. Anyway, look at those. If you don't have access to that, if you're seeing this video and we're still doing this remotely, then unfortunately that will have to wait, though I will add, if you could come up with a cool different theme that's not SpongeBob, it's not Pokemon, any sort of creative art thing that involves each of the triangles here on the right that I'm circling now, please create that. It could be digital, it could be hand-drawn. You can take a picture of it with your phone and email it to me. And I would love to have that for the future. And maybe I could even put that as a link for students to look at when they're doing this assignment now. All right. For now, though, assuming you don't have access to any of that stuff, I'm just going to have you look over here on the right side, and we could review together the three types of triangles by side and the three different triangles by angle. Something about my integrated class, I say this often, is that each unit is like going into a different world of a video game, where you start super simple, and then you work your way up to the boss. The boss is often pretty difficult, and then when you go to a new world, you start back at simple again. We just got done with linear inequalities. We built up to two variables into the overlapping shading. We're done with all that now. And now we're flying over to the triangle world, where eventually we're going to do some trigonometry. We're going to do some other complex work. And so we're starting super simple with just reviewing different types of triangles. So look over here on the right. Equilateral triangles first. Notice these tick marks are all the same. They all have 2 marks. That's where every side and every angle is the same. And fun facts, what is a good thing to remember with equilateral triangles is that every angle is 60, because all angles in a triangle add up to 180. If they're all equal, 180 divided by 3 is 60, so they're all 60. Isosceles has 2 sides that are the same for the 2 E's that are in the word isosceles. And you can see that because these tick marks are the same, but the bottom does not have the same tick marks. Scalene, I like to say, is a ugly fish. Like scales on a fish, nothing's equal, sides aren't equal, angles aren't equal. It's just an ugly fish. That's by side. Angle, if we have a single angle, let's start at the bottom. A single one that's greater than 90. You can think of this like you're yawning. I'm going to make you all yawn like I yawn over here. Obtuse. Look how much I have to open my mouth to say that. Obtuse. A really wide angle, greater than 90, down here. If one angle is greater than 90, then the whole triangle is obtuse. You can ignore the other ones. Same thing if you have one 90-degree angle. It's a right angle, and sometimes that is denoted by, let me draw this for you real quick. I'm going to zoom in. It's denoted by a little square like that. So that also means 90. Sometimes it'll literally just say 90. If there's one 90-degree angle, the entire triangle is a right triangle. You can ignore the other 2 angles. And finally, there's the acute little triangle, the acute angles. If all 3 angles are less than 90, it's an acute triangle. And you'll notice we talked about equilateral ones before where they're all 60. Well, all 60 is an example of an acute triangle. So every equilateral triangle is also an acute triangle. And that will definitely come up for this assignment. All right, having done that little review, let's dive right into our assignment. You'll notice one other thing right off the bat about this. It says you cannot redo individual problems. This is the first assignment of the year where that's the case. And that's because often you're going to get very similar problems each time. And I have found if you could redo problems, then it motivates you to not say try on the problems and just randomly click till you get it right. But I will show you what to do if you want to restart if you say you missed number 1. So if number 1 you screw up, and even though none of the angles are 90 or above, say you say it's a right angle or right triangle, but it's not. It's going to get it wrong. You're going to see a red mark here. Don't freak out, because here's all you have to do to redo the assignment. You click this Finish Attempt button up there. When you do that, it's going to show you a recap of everything. It's going to be ugly because you haven't done it all yet. Then you hit Submit All and Finish. You're going to do that twice. Hit it again. Submit All and Finish again. And then it's going to tell me, wow, you submitted that with a score of a 0. Great job in 54 seconds. Look at all that sea of red. Well, that's fine, because then you just hit, for you it's going to say reattempts. You go back to your assignment, and it says reattempt, and you're back. And you might have to go back to the classifying triangles page and then hit reattempt here. Either way, you hit reattempts, and then you're back on number 1. And now we can look at this for real. So I see that I have the 3 angles less than 90, so that's going to be the acute triangle. And then how many sides are the same? 2 sides are the same. What's a triangle with 2 equal sides? That's isosceles. So it's going to be acute isosceles. All we're doing is matching up triangles next to our vocabulary. So number 2 I see has all the sides are equal, and there are the 60 degrees that I talked about, 60, 60, and 60. This is equilateral, and all equilaterals are acute. So acute equilateral. Pause this video right now and try the next one, number 3, and then you could check it with me each time. Get some good practice in. All right, hopefully you have identified that this is a acute equilateral once again. We have 60-degree angles and the tick mark, meaning all 3 sides are the same. Acute equilateral, very popular one. Again, pause. Try this one out. Don't hit check until you check it with me. We do not have an equilateral one because the triangle is not 60-degree angles and all sides don't match. We do have 2 sides that match. So 2 sides again is isosceles. And all 3 sides are less than 90. They're the acute little small angles. So acute isosceles. And I'm just going to count on the fact that for the rest of this, you're going to look at this, pause, try it out, and then check it with me. This one confuses people because there are no markings on it other than the tick marks for the angles and the sides. But notice how all 3 angles have the same tick mark and all 3 sides have the same tick mark. So once again, it's the popular acute equilateral. Kind of looks like a fidget spinner. Okay, number 6 is the first time where we have an angle that is obtuse. It's very large. It's greater than 90. And if one angle is greater than 90, it's automatically obtuse. Then we look at our sides. We've got tick marks on the sides again. These angles also match, so that's isosceles. So we have obtuse, isosceles. Okay, now we've got another obtuse angle. Oh, and the 44s match. Wow, I've got the same one twice in a row. That's lucky. Obtuse isosceles again. 8 is the first time I've got a perfectly right angle. There's a little corner. It's marked with a 90, and the tick marks again on the sides. So this is a right isosceles triangle. I have no idea out there if yours match mine or not, so just be using these notes on the right and on the isosceles. Okay, there's the old tick mark I drew for you with the square on the side. Remember, I drew that over here, also meaning right. So this is a right again, but notice the sides and angles. For the first time, none of them match. This is the ugly fish of the scalene. Right, scalene. Scale this one back a little bit. Problem seems a little too fishy. Number 10 is still fishy. None of the angles or sides match, but we have the obtuse angle up here. Ooh, look at that. It's moved the whole triangle. Obtuse, larger than 90, so it's obtuse scalene. We got a big old fish for that one. You're on fire. Well, that's the opposite of a fish, swimming in water. Number 11, we return to the acute little angles here. All less than 90. 2 tick marks on the sides. We know what that means by now. It's isosceles. So acute isosceles. We're cruising. This is why you can't redo them. There's no computation. I have the Desmos calculator up, but I've noticed I'm not even using it. There's no computation today. All right. Obtuse angle. 2 sides that are the same again. Obtuse isosceles. Lots of great practice today. It's very rare we have more than 10 problems. If we do, it's usually assignments like this where you can get through them pretty fast. All right, another one where you just see one angle. But like I said, if you have one that's over 90, you could ignore the other 2, so the other 2 don't matter. it's obtuse. And then the two tick marks again mean obtuse isosceles. So obtuse isosceles and acute equilateral are definitely the two most popular so far. Last two problems. We've got that square meaning a right triangle and the two sides that match, which we've done so many times already. Isosceles, right isosceles. And the final one. Can we go 15 for 15? No mistakes. We've got a 90 degree. So this is what's called a special triangle because it's a 45, 45, 90. Ooh, fancy. That is still a right triangle because of the 90, and it's still isosceles because the 41s. Right isosceles show us 15 for 15. Survey says, woo! Look how beautiful all those green check marks look. If you missed one or two, you can redo the whole assignment, or you can just be cool with a grade less than 100. But for me, beautifully, you're going to see, wha-bam, 100%. I had about 5 minutes of pre-teaching before the lesson even started with the assignment, and 5 minutes 45 seconds for the actual assignment. That's pretty darn good. That's fast. All right. As always, this has been Class Away from Class. Hopefully this lesson helped you with the assignment. I hope that you are safe, happy, healthy, and well. Until next time, I hope you don't try too much on those angles.